We're here at Rockingham Motor Speedway, located in Northamptonshire, one of Europe's fastest circuits. Welcome to ThundersportGB.
Yes, hello and welcome to Rockingham Motor Speedway in Northamptonshire. The first time ThundersportGB have visited these parts for a couple of years. It was a championship decider just a couple of years ago. Weather here, well, we're expecting some rain clouds, but at the moment it's dry. Grandstands starting to fill out, and in this hour-long program on Motors TV, it's the Morello Services Thundersport GP1 on the grid first. As you can see, we're on this main oval for the start-finish straight. That's Mike Dickinson there on the front row, and Pete Baker, the championship leader, on the front row also. Number 11, Ben Scranage, having a good season. First time that motorcycles have actually used this newly designed circuit at Rockingham. A couple of changes to the old BSB course that was here back in 2003. So it's new for every single rider. None of them will have been here until Friday testing. Slightly diminished grid due to a number of riders falling in qualifying. But at the front there, look out for Dickinson. Macman just to the left of him, number 30, the Chem-Tile Kawasaki. And it's going to be Macman that takes the lead into turn one. A tight little chicane. It's one of the few circuits on a British calendar that has a chicane as its first corner. They then fan out wide and down on the brakes, and they tip in left once more. It is going to be Ben Scranage is that on the outside of Ian Macman now. So Ben Scranage takes the lead. Peter Baker, the championship leader, in third place. Those of you looking out for Phil Crow, second in the championship. He was leading until Snetterton. Injured there, unfortunately. Not been able to get back out here for Rockingham. Hopefully, he'll be back for Anglesey in a couple of weeks' time. There's Mike Dickinson. Of course, this championship, mainly for power bikes and for super stock machines also. As the riders now enter the infield section of Rockingham, Ben Scranage it is that leads, and Ian Macman on second, looking up the inside here. Is it going to be a block pass? It is, and it works well as they make the overtaking manoeuvre. Pete Baker, though, look at the drive that he's got out of that turn onto the old start-finish straight that we used a couple of years back in ThundersportGB. So it's now Macman from Peter Baker and Ben Scranage. Ben Scranage is on a super stock machine, so slightly down on power than the two riders up ahead of him. Into turn one we go again. Very fast through there. Ian Macman it is that still leads from Peter Baker and Ben Scranage. Baker having a look up the inside, but he's nowhere near close enough to realistically make the move. Now out of Dean and into Yentwood, the right-hander. 90-degree right-hand turn before heading into Chapman Curve, and then into a series of left-handers. This one here, Piff Paff, it's one of the first banked left-handers that you come into. It's caught a number of riders out in the past, then into these mini steel straights, into Gracelands, and then up towards Tarzan. This tight right-hand hairpin. There's Mike Dickinson, number 19, up to third, ahead of Ben Scranage. So, good effort also from Chris Barnes, number 21, on the bright yellow machine there, just behind Ben Scranage. Alex Heaton also out there, number 111 on the Night Road Racing Ducati. There is Alex. We've got Scott Adam also out there on a Ducati 848, number 38. He's up ahead of John Blundell, number 177. But back at the front, it is still Mackman that leads this one from Peter Baker. Ian Mackman, of course, the reigning Superstock 1000 champion at ThundersportGB. Peter Baker, the champion of GP1 in 2009, but desperately wants that title back. And, well, a wide approach and late on the brakes from Mike Dickinson, the South African there in third place. And he's carrying a lot of confidence after a decent Snetterton. And there's a decent fight for the Superstock. So GP1 bikes 1, 2 and 3. Superstock supremacy being fought for in 4th, 5th and 6th between Scranage Heaton and Chris Barnes. As you look at the AL joinery machine there of Mike Dickinson chasing the Morello Services Suzuki of Peter Baker. Ian Mackman came into this event 3rd place overall. Got some catching up to do if he wants to keep up with Pete Baker in the championship, but a couple of decent results has seen him move ahead of Phil Crow in the championship. So Crow now down to 3rd, and Mike Dickinson with a couple of decent results here today could also jump up ahead of Crowe. But it is still Mackman that leads this one. We've not seen him on the top step of the race overall too many times this season. Of course, he missed a couple of rounds due to his TT commitments earlier on in the summer, but he's leading here. Pete Baker, of course, well, with after this round we go to Anglesey. He'll have in mind that there's championship points at stake, and 20 points here wouldn't go amiss. And around the outside goes Mike Dickinson. A great move from Mike. He goes around the outside of Pete Baker, who was caught napping there. Meanwhile, out front, Ian Mackman's just got a chance to edge away. Baker there, the blue and white Suzuki, sponsored by Morello Services, the sponsor of the class itself. And there's number 30, the Kemtar Kawasaki of Ian Mackman. All of these riders, of course, looking forward to Anglesey, the next round. The Demon Tweaks Motor Supri of Wales, with prize money up for grabs. It's sure to be a fine event. 36 of the fastest riders from this class, the GP1 and the Sportsman Elite 600, will be eligible to qualify for the Demon Tweak Super Prix of Wales in Anglesey in August, of the August bank holiday. That will be televised some weeks later here on Motors TV. There are rumours spreading around that the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge have actually been invited to that event. Of course, Prince William has a base in Anglesey. They lived not too far away from the circuit, but with all of the Olympics going on at the moment, we'll wait and see if we can get a glimpse of Wills and Kate at Anglesey. There's number 195, that's Robert Cadiz, a newcomer. Just ahead there of Colin Thompson, number 41. Colin just outside the top 10 as we speak. Back at the front though, Mike Dickinson, having moved up to 2nd, is now closing on Ian Mackman and nearly takes too much of the curb, but he's taking some rather different lines to the rest of the crew. There's Scott Adam, number 38, a competitor in the Super Twin class for a number of seasons. He's out there on the Ducati 848. In his best efforts at the moment. He'll classify as a Superstock rider, currently 4th overall in Superstocks and just inside the top 8 on circuit. Dickinson, that is, then leads the South African. They head out of Gracelands and through the chicane. Ian Mackman shadowing him, and Peter Baker being left out to dry a little bit onto turn 4 before making their way onto the start-finish straight here and the oval at Rockingham. Tip into this first corner, which is a left flick, and then just straighten up the bike, ready to get back on the power. And this is that wide approach that they take down into Dean, and there's some traffic up ahead, and that will help Ian Mackman. It'll prevent Mike Dickinson from getting away, and they're just getting held up a little bit. Is that Callum O'Shea? I think they're going either side of, but it's still Dickinson that has the advantage ahead of Ian Mackman. Peter Baker in 3rd. I can tell you Alex Heaton is doing very well in the Superstock class. He's fighting away for 4th place with Ben Scranage and Chris Barnes. Scott Adam just behind them. Then it's John Blundell, Kevin Davies, Colin Thompson and Justin Stevenson. But it's Mike Dickinson that leads. This would certainly keep him in the title hunt, Mike Dickinson. As you look at Chris Barnes there, number 21, the Blackburn rider, sponsored by AP Broom Racing. Dickinson into Gracelands again, that tight right-hand hairpin, a great place for overtaking, for heading into the Brook chicane. And then another long sweeping left-hander before they make their way onto the main oval here at the Rockingham Motor Speedway. Flat out now they go, the checkered flag's out, who's going to get in and across the line? It is going to be Mike Dickinson that takes it. A good result, solid effort from Mike Dickinson, the South African. He wins this race from Ian Mackman. Both of them getting points off championship leader Pete Baker, who finishes in third. Alex Heaton fourth ahead of Ben Scranage and Chris Barnes. Heaton then winning the super stock class, and there he is, centre picture. And overall in GP1, Mike Dickinson the winner in the middle, Mackman to the left and Baker on the right. Championship standings then, it is Baker that leads heading into Anglesey, Mackman second, Dickinson third.
Winner of the Superstock Thousands, Alex Heaton, fighting your way through the grid. How did you find it?
Yeah, it was good. I got a good start. I think I was fourth into the second corner, but Adrian Clark had a, near big eyesight, so a few got past. Took me a bit to sort of regroup after that, but after that, I managed to find my way into the lead and managed to pull a big enough gap to win.
And a few technical issues with your knee slider.
Yeah, when I passed Scranage, my knee slider fell off, so it was the hardest race ever.
Any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the Knights for all the hard work they do. Holroyd Tyre Warmers, Pewterline, big thanks to Steve at Morello for helping me out this weekend. Design Course, Pewterline, Premier Helmets.
Winner of the Thundersport GP1, Mike Dickinson, a win and lap record. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel really good. We had a good day today. It was on pole, we won both heats, set a new lap record, got the bike working really well. Very happy.
You've enjoyed Rockingham then?
I wouldn't say I've enjoyed it, but it's not a bad little circuit. Grip is a little bit of an issue. Apart from that, yeah, it's the only left-handed circuit we go to, so that's quite good as well.
How do you feel about Anglesey next round?
Anglesey is a great little circuit right on the coast. The weather can be temperamental, so we'll see what we get when we get there.
Excellent. Any sponsors to thank?
Yeah, massive thanks to the whole crew, my wife Sarah, Andy, Martin, Deck, and also to Michelin Tyres, AL Joinery, D6 Website Designs, Motor Race Spares. Without them, none of this would be possible. I wouldn't be standing here, the bike wouldn't be in the paddock, so to all of those, thanks a lot.
Good effort there from Mike Dickinson. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with the RST Clothing Golden Era Superbikes.
Moped, sports bikes, you save watts. Any bike, it makes no odds. We will give you what you need. Best price always guaranteed. Come to us and get a quote. You'll be singing note for note. Walk away with cash to spend on anything you want, my friend. Bike Insurer, Bike Insurer, Bike Insurer.
Get the cheapest bike insurance, guaranteed, only from the Bike Insurer.
Morello Services, Thundersport GP1. The wind is up here at Rockingham Motor Speedway with 4 rounds left of the championship. And Peter Baker is in a good position. However, this weekend he's got his work cut out. South African Mike Dickinson is on pole position here at Rockingham. Ian Mackman there, number 30 on the Chemtal Kawasaki, having a decent weekend also and looking to fight at the end of the championship here, having missed a couple of rounds due to TT duties. There is your championship leader, number 4, Peter Baker, the Morello Services sponsored rider. Champion of 2009, of course. No Phil Crow here, still injured after that crash at Snetterton. And 4th place on the front row, Ben Scranage, number 11, Ben from Bolton, on the small boy track bikes Honda. Bikes here, well, of course, they're power bikes mixed in with super stock machinery. They score points overall and they score points separately in their classes. And just on the second row there, keep your eye out for a number of the 6 super stock machines of Alex Heaton, Chris Barnes, Scott Adam. You've also got John Blundell, Adam Robinson, Kev Davies. But off the start they go. Oh, my word, there, Ben Scranage almost wiped out the pole man, Mike Dickinson, who's going to go into turn 1 in about 8th place. Capitalising all the way from that, though, was Peter Baker. So it's Scranage that leads, Baker in 2nd. That looks like Adrian Clark up into 3rd. Then you've got the Night Road Racing Superstock Ducati of Alex Heaton alongside Scott Adam, who's in as a wild card for Rockingham here. He's out there on a Ducati 848, so he'll be down on power, but he'll score points in the Superstock 1000 category. At the front, though, a good start from Ben Scranage. Baker in second, and if the checker flag was to go out now, Baker would capitalise big time. Mike Dickinson having a nightmare, and also Ian Mackman not off to a great start behind. Joining me in the commentary box is Thundersport's Sid. Sid, a great championship so far. Shame not to have Phil Crowe out there, though.
No, he's out in Thailand nursing an injured wrist, and you can make what you want of that. But anyway, we won't go down that route. I tell you what, Baker didn't like where the pole position was, you know, here, because it's one of those where it's the permit shows it on the left-hand side, and yet the first corner's the left-hand side. So on the mega laps, he actually got demoted, and I don't know whether this was by prejudgment, to third place, and he was a lot happier there, and indeed seems to have got a better start than he did at the 2 races yesterday.
Yes, mega laps is a system whereby on the Saturday, during qualifying and your race results, the fastest times denote where your grid position will be. I'm not sure that you can actually predetermine that or try and put yourself in third or fourth, because of course you're racing. But Pete Baker it is that's leading. Pete Baker is fitter than ever this year. 2009 champion, 2010 just lost his title to Phil Crowe. Last year was out of the running with a couple of rounds to go, was really lacking in confidence last year, and a number of massive falls. This year started off and we were wondering whether we were going to see the same again, but it's all come together, and Peter Baker from Alton Park onwards is on it. The fact that Phil Crowe is absent, you shouldn't take away the fact that Pete Baker probably would be somewhere up there in the championship anyway, but hopefully Crowe will be back with us shortly.
Pete is determined to make up for a few points. He really does need this, and he's sponsored by Morello Services, who also, in fact, as you know, sponsor the GP1 series, and indeed provide the very, very generous £26,000 worth of prize money, which equates from £5 per championship point earned, which is a very generous thing to do, and it's certainly made this championship worth coming to.
Yes, and as you look at the power bikes at the moment, it is Peter Baker that leads overall. Alex Heaton, Ben Scranage, Chris Barnes, Scott Adam are fighting it out for Superstock supremacy. And further back there, that's number 41, and that's Colin Thompson. Colin currently just inside the points.
Alex Heaton's lap times look so good, Steve.
Yeah, he's just there, look, number 111. Going up the inside now into Tarzan ahead of Ben Scranage, and Mike Dickinson there struggling to get his way up there. Yes, both Alex Heaton and Mike Dickinson's lap times looking equally great. Mike Dickinson, of course, the South African pole here in this race, but at the moment away with it. Pete Baker at the front. Most of these riders will be looking forward to Anglesey, because not only will they be in their GP1 championship, Sid, there's the Demon Twix Super Prix of Wales going on, where they can earn themselves some prize money.
Extra prize money indeed, in addition to the GP1 championship prize money. Yes, Demon Twix Moto Super Prix of Wales, the fastest 36 riders in GP1 and 600 Sportsman Elite go through with no entry fee and can earn some fantastic prize money combined over a double header on the Monday, and the winner gets $1,250 smackaroonies, and then it goes down to 8th place.
Yeah, that all comes in very handy.
Well, it helps. I mean, we all know that racing's not cheap. This is probably at ThundersportGB the most expensive championship to be in, with the tyres, etc, etc, etc. But it's certainly a fan. And Mike Dickinson, I tell you what, he is really come on song now.
Yes, and I don't think that the 600s don't stand much of a chance either, because the likes of Tom McHale in the Sportsman Elite, etc., are pretty handy. And you know what? you can't utilise all of the power of the big bikes around Anglesey. There is a fair long straight at Anglesey, but it's uphill.
To call it straight.
Well, it's more of a curve, isn't it? But there's plenty of corners for the 600s to make up the time. Tom McHale, I mean, his lap times, incidentally, would put him in the top 6 or 7 of this race. So he's on a 600. That would put him in and around where Scott Adam is on the 848.
Scott Adams doing well on that 848, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. That's underpowered compared to, well, all of the machinery that he's up against here. He's up there. Scott Adam, of course, a rider that is not unfamiliar with the people that he's racing against here. He was in the Super Twins last year and the year before that, so he's up against some competitors that he knows rather well. Currently having a decent scrap with Chris Barnes and John Blundell for the Superstock podium. But at the front of this one, now he's managed to get himself past a few riders and past Alex Heaton, who's leading the Superstock race. Mike Dickinson is closing in on Peter Baker, the championship leader. There he is, number 19, the South African. Look at the drive, he's got out of the first chicane. He's going to go around the outside. Is he a Peter Baker? Surely not, and he does. He makes it stick and almost wipes out the front wheel of Baker in the process. Alex Heaton running very well in 3rd place, but the man that they all need to keep an eye on is Ian Mackman. He's leading that second gaggle there, but he's the fastest man on the circuit at 125.124. That's the fastest lap of the race. In fact, the fastest lap of the day so far of any other motorcycle rider. He's in 4th, but Alex Heaton there on that Ducati. That's a stock bike. And he's keeping up with both Dickinson and Pete Baker. Dickinson, well, as far as Baker's concerned, he can afford for Dickinson to win this race. He doesn't initially, at the moment, he doesn't threat Baker in the championship, but he wouldn't want Dickinson to win too many more races this year before Mike appears as a title contender towards the end. Back on the start-finish straight we go. It's still Dickinson from Baker. Alex Heaton closing in on Peter Baker now in 2nd. Into the chicane we go. In the background, Ian Mackman's still closing in. He's managed to just stretch away from Ben Scranage. Adrian Clark up there also. Into Dean Hairpin we go. The bike snaking there from Dickinson. Heaton thought about going up the inside, didn't quite work out.
He will not want to be beaten by a Superstock bike, particularly a Ducati.
No, Peter Baker there in 2nd place. Well, look, there's number 280, Steve Foster, just getting lapped by Mike Dickinson, who's really running well here. This is a level playing ground, remember, for these guys. None of them been here this year, so it was a sneaky test day a week or so ago, which they may have been able to attend, but either way, there's not a lot of experience on this newly configured international circuit. There's Ian Mackman on the Kemtar Kawasaki with a white helmet, and in the background there, that's Adrian Clark and Ben Scranage fighting it out. Adrian Clark is on the more powerful Honda GP1 machine. Ben Scranage on the Honda Superstock. Meanwhile, back at the front, it's still Dickinson that leads from Baker and Alex Heaton. You can see there in 4th. Ian Mackman, well, with another low 125, he's still the fastest man on the circuit. He might have just left it a bit too late, though.
I think Heaton buzzing around Pete's backside. I think he's coming back to the fold. I spoke to Mike Dickinson last night, and he said they've been having a few problems with the setup on the bike. They seem to have got the hang of it, and they certainly got the setup right for this circuit. Although he's not very good on the starts there from that pole position that he also, the same as Pete, didn't like. So the mega laps didn't really suit him, because I think he was in 4th place yesterday on the grid. But certainly now he's got the hang of this, and he's so happy with the way that bike is set up. He's quite happy to go round the slower riders that he's lapping on the outside. Quite happy.
Just saw Scott Adam going through there on the 848, number 38, and then number 7, that was Adam Robinson. But Sid saying the setup seems to be right for Mike Dickinson here, and we enter the final lap of this race. And I've got to say, it's looking like Dickinson is home and dry for the win. 2nd place, however, doesn't look like it's going to be decided until the final Brook chicane, because Ian Mackman is on the pair of them, on Baker and Heaton now. So it's going to be a fight to the line between Peter Baker, Ian Mackman, and the Superstock machine of Alex Heaton. Heaton can ill afford to get himself mixed up in that battle, because he's on for 25 Superstock 1000 points at the moment, and he's got a championship to win there. He's just behind Ben Scranage overall.
He'll let Macklin go, surely.
Well, you'd think so, but these are riders, and sometimes they don't really think about things like that. There is Dickinson then, and he's actually been reeled in by Baker on this last lap. There is Heaton still in third, but Mackman closing in. Mackman's got the more powerful machine, and he will try and get the drive out of Tarzan.
Tell you what,
you know, he should be able to close in now. Look at the power difference of Mackman's bike compared to Heaton's, but back on the start-finish straight. It's a superb win for Mike Dickinson, the South African. He wins the race, and in second, in the background there, Ian Mackman has not only managed to get Alex Heaton, he's got past Peter Baker also. So Ian Mackman takes second place, Peter Baker third, Alex Heaton is fourth and the winner of the Superstock race ahead of Ben Scranage, and Adrian Clark takes sixth place, but fourth overall in the GP1. There is Ian Mackman on the left, Mike Dickinson the winner in the middle, and Baker on the right. And the Superstocks, Alex Heaton the winner from Scranage and Chris Barnes.
Alex Heaton, winner of the Superstock 1000. Fantastic that was.
Yeah, thank you. It was a good race. It was good to be up with the GP1 lads. Well, it started at Snetterton, had a good run there, and I'm having quite a decent run here. Now I've got my suspension sorted.
I thought you'd been having porridge for breakfast or something.
No, still bacon, boys.
Who do you want to thank, mate?
I'd like to thank Charlotte and Alan, Design Course, Louise for polishing my bike all the time. Who else is there? Motoretta, designerhelmets.com, and all the other ones.
Brilliant, well done. Mike Dickinson, lovely to see you up here on top spot. Fantastic race. Just tell us a bit about that, how it was for you.
Yeah, the race was pretty good. We knew from yesterday that we had the pace to run at the front. In fact, from Alton onwards, we've slowly made good progress on the bike with the tyres and the chassis setup. And today we came out all cylinders firing, and we got a bit of a poor start. Me and Ian had to work his way through for the first half, but then once I caught Peter thought that I had a bit of extra pace than him, so made a move for the lead and just put my head down and waited for the checkered flag.
That was a brilliant race to watch, I have to say. Who would you like to thank?
Yeah, massive thanks to Michelin Tyres, to AL Joinery, Motor Race Spares, D6 Racing Designs, all the guys in the team in the paddock, and my biggest fan, my wife.
Excellent, great race to watch. Very well done, Mike.
Great, thank you.